Mirza Shefi Vazeh was an Azerbaijani poet and teacher. Under the pseudonym Vazeh, which means expressive clear, he wrote in both Azerbaijani and Persian, developing the traditions of poetry in both languages. He taught Azerbaijani and Persian in Tbilisi together with the Russian pedagogue Ivan Grigoriev. He wrote the first collection of Azerbaijani poetry and the Tatar-Russian dictionary for the Tbilisi Gymnasium. Mirza Shefi wrote many ghazals, mukhammas, masnavi, rubai, and others. His poems were intimate, lyrical, and satirical. In addition, Vazeh was the head of the poetry type Wisdom Circle. The main theme of Vazeh's works is the glorification of romantic love and the joy of life, but in some of his poems, Mirza Shefi shows the flaws of feudal society, opposes slavery and religious fanaticism. The German poet Friedrich Bodenstedt, who took Oriental lessons from Vazeh, published a translation of Vazeh's poems in his book A Thousand and One Days in the East in 1850. Later, Bodenstedt's book Songs of Mirza Shefi in 1851 was published. These songs have been repeatedly translated into European languages. Also, Bodenstedt later began to write Vazeh's poems as his own. The original pages in Persian and Azerbaijani had been proved Mirza Shefi's authorship. Mirze Shafi Sadigoglu was born in Ganja on the eve of the 18th-19th centuries in the family of the builder Kerbalai Sadiq. The date of the poet's birth is not clear. Sadiq Usta worked as an architect during the region of the last Ganja Khan, Javad Khan. According to the Orientalist Adolf Berg, in 1851 he met a modest 60-year-old Turk on the streets of Tbilisi who was Mirza Shefi Vazeh. According to historian Mikhail Somovsky, Mirza Shefi was a kind, simple man, originally a Tatar and a Persian by upbringing. Shefi's interest in books and science quickly showed itself. In this connection, his father sent him to the madrasa of the Shah Abbas Mosque in Ganja. His father wanted his son to be a mullah at the madrasa. Shefi's interest expanded where he mastered the basics of Persian and Arabic and learned calligraphy and then perfected his calligraphy skills. While Shefi was still studying at a madrasa, a man named Haji Abdullah returned to Ganja from Tabriz. According to Berg, he had beautiful heart qualities and high morals. Haji Abdullah played an important role in the formation of Mirza Shefi's personality. In the 1930s and 1940s, Mirza Shefi earned his living by working as a secretary for rich people. In Ganja, Shefi also taught calligraphy and Oriental languages. In late 1840, he moved to Tbilisi, where he became a junior teacher. From 1840, he taught Azerbaijani and Persian in Tbilisi. In Tbilisi, Vazeh established close ties with Abbasgulu Bachkhanov, Mirza Fatalakhundov, and other cultural figures. While teaching in Tbilisi in 1852, Mirza Shefi Vazeh, together with one of the Kazan-based students, Ivan Grigoriev, compiled the first textbook of Azerbaijani poetry, Kitab-i Türk, which was written even before Vatan Dili. Naum Grebnev translated Mirza Shefi's best works from both Azerbaijani and Persian languages, as well as from Bodenstedt's German manuscripts, and added them to the book Mirza Shefi's Lyric. Songs of Mirza Shefi was first translated from German into Russian by Eifert. He wrote in 1880. Mirza Shefi's songs, which have already been published in 60 editions, are one of the favorite works of modern poetry in Germany. Mirza Fathallah Akhundov clarifies his memories that Vazeh had the art of writing in a beautiful calligraphy known as Nastaliq. The author of the Italian translation was the writer Rossi. In the 1860s, the Russian poet Mikhail Mikhailov translated Mirza Shefi's poems into Russian. Later, in 1903, Isidor Prodan translated the poem back into Russian. Vazeh's works attract the attention of Leo Tolstoy. In 1880, Tolstoy told that he was deeply impressed by Mirza Shefi's poems. Russian composer and pianist Anton Rubinstein created a series of songs based on the words of Mirza Shefi. Literary activity. In his works, the poet praised the greatness of the human spirit, love of life, beauty. Vazeh's poems, Yusuf and Zuleika, Sadi and Shah, numerous ghazals, rubais, sharp satire, and humorous aphorisms were very bold examples for that period. He is the author of beautiful poems of his time, for instance, Wise Words, Complaints and Objections, Ibn Yamin, Old Love, Double Lines, Cypress Tree, Shah Abbas, A Day with Shah Manifest, Yazid Ali, Single Items, Zuleika. These ghazals are Capture the Azza book you are talking to, be happy, your heart is a place of love, no matter how many, there is a fixed planet of actions. His muhammases are Iris. He also wrote some masnavis, for example, Waiting for the Letter and Conversation of Mirza Shefi Vazeh with Naji and Naseh is the beautiful and admirable conversation of Mirza Shefi's. While going to Ganja, Mirza Shefi visited the grave of the great Azerbaijani poet Nizami Ganjavi. Mirza Shefi, who saw the destroyed tomb of the great poet, expressed this in his poems with regret. Mirza Shefi Vazeh died on November 16th or 28th, 1852 in Tbilisi, Georgia. The poet was buried in the Tbilisi Muslim cemetery, and his grave is now located in the botanical garden in the Fanseum of prominent Azerbaijanis. Some examples of Mirza Shefi's poems.